Firstly, just a quick introduction on myself. I'm actually a farmer from Herefordshire. We are quite a diverse, quite a mixed farm. We've got broiler chickens, cider apples, arable, and we ventured into calf rearing probably some 15 years ago now. And through a bit of a process, we've ended up with diversifying into calf housing products as well, based on the back of research we did for our own business. My speech, the title is Successful Calf Rearing Through Genetics, Nutrition and Environment. So, coming from a background of a calf rearer, I'm going to skip one level and go to the dairy farmer where all our calves come from. Dairy farmers are, rightly so, very keen to get the right, correct genetics in the system for their animals, for their milk yields, and for their calf, therefore to get the calves to create the potential to create the production for later on in life. So we're talking about heifer replacements, so we're trying to get the high levels of genetics to give you the potential later on in life. And that is definitely the correct thing to do. But with all the best genetics in the world, if you then don't look after the calf properly after that point, you're not going to do the job properly. It's like having a high performance car which you don't service. You've got to keep everything else in tune as well. So we'll take it on to the next stage then with the calves. So you've got this calf with a high level of genetic potential, but then you've got to feed it properly. If you don't put the right fuel in the engine, you're not going to get the performance out the vehicle. So we go on to when the calf is first born, the colostrum management. Colostrum management has been spoken about a huge amount over the last few years. And there's now the sort of the metabolic feeding program. I'm not sure whether people have come across that. It's based on a lot of research out of Europe now, and they've taken calves through to sort of 5 years or more. They've been running this research, and they have discovered that the calves who have the correct colostrum management, i.e. high levels of high quality colostrum in the first 4 to 6 hours, to get the antibody levels crossing the gut wall, to get them going around the calf's body, to get the immune level up, to get that calf strong as quick as you can, but then to follow that then with a high level of milk intake feeding. So whether that be ad lib or controlled high level feeding, again, it's all about getting calories and nutrition into that animal to get the immune system, to get the growth. And one of the interesting facts of this research is that they've after a period of time, 3 to 4 weeks of age, they have actually investigated some of these animals, and through post-mortems, they have discovered that the animals that are fed on a high level of nutrition versus a standard level of nutrition have had a much larger organs within the body, whether that be the heart, the lungs, even the udders. They find that the udders have got a much higher cell count, number of cells within that udder, because in those first 3 weeks of life, that calf is going through cell division. And the more cells that you can create into those organs, then when it goes into the cell elongation phase later on in life, you've got a calf that is going to be a much stronger and much healthier. Its immune system is going to be higher. It's going to withstand the challenges that are going to be thrown at it through life. And therefore that calf going through into the herd, whether it be the beef herd or the dairy herd, will have longevity of life. It will go through more lactations, which becomes a much more profitable animal, and this is what we've all got to do. So we've got the genetics, we've now got a calf that is well fed. We feed in our calves on our farm at home through computerized feeders. We haven't got the ability to do the colostrum management where we are because we're buying the calves in at approximately 3 weeks of age. But what we can do is we can influence from that point onwards. So through the HNL 100 machine we have there, when the calves first arrive, we are feeding 6 1-litre drinks per day at 200 grams per litre. But because you're having 6 1-litre drinks with a set gap between each drink, the calves will thrive on that. They will grow well, they'll mature, and they'll build their immune system into a strong animal. After approximately 18 days on farm, we then cut that back to 2 litres drinks. Shock is probably the wrong word, but it is a certain point that they walk into the machine and they suddenly get 2 litres rather than 1 litre, but they don't get anything else to drink for a further 12 hours. Which means that in that period, the calves are thinking, what else can I eat? Well, they've already found the dry food, which is available to them, but not in high quantity. At this point, they are then finding more dry food. We hold them at this level for a further 7 days, and then we start weaning them gradually. And what we have found from this is our growth rates have gone from an average of 0.98 kilos per day to 1.13. We're actually doing trial work at the moment, and it looks like that we've moved this on again to even higher levels through good health and performance. So we've got these calves now which are thriving, growing well, but even then, if you haven't got the right housing system, the calf is still not going to look after it properly. So what does a calf need? A calf needs an environment that is well ventilated, draft-free, and dry. Well, this is how I came into the Calfigloo job. Being poultry farmers, I used to having a building built specifically around the requirements of the chicken. So when we started researching calves, I had to find what I believed was the environment that was offered to the calves for the whole several stages, from 3 days, 3 weeks to 3 months of age. Looked at many systems across the UK, and as you do, you venture out and try and find the system that you believe is correct. But in 2008, we bought this igloo system in from Germany, set it up on our own farm, 12 igloos, rearing 160 calves at a time. We've got a system there which is challenging because we're buying the calves in relatively high numbers. So we've got to offer the best environment we can to ensure that those calves thrive. So the igloo, with its dome shape, whichever direction the wind is coming from, it will rise up over the vents in the domes and extract the air out through negative pressure. Plus also, once you've got calves in there, you're creating a stack effect. So you've got a double positive on ventilation. But it's a gentle exchange of air, but a constant exchange of air. But also you've got a pen of 15 calves, so the igloo will house 15 calves. But each calf can manage its own requirements by wandering out into the sheltered, dry, bedded area under the roof, whether that be a roof of a veranda, which is a mobile structure, or a roof of a building similar to the one we're stood in now. If the calf can have a choice of 2 correct environments, then the calf is always going to get what it wants when it wants it. And as the day progresses, you'll see these calves, some will be wandering out. They're a little bit stage fright at the moment, they're a bit shy, but they'll wander out and they'll do their own bits and pieces outside, and they'll wander in, and then they'll change over, and they'll just keep managing their own requirements as the day goes on. So from 3 weeks of age, 3 months of age, whether it be summertime, wintertime, day or night, they'll always get the environment that individual calf wants. So through the correct genetics, the correct nutrition, and the correct housing system, you're going to get a successfully reared calf, which is where the profit ends up in your business in 3 years' time when it's in the herd. Okay, well, thank you.